Now, this is also a SharePoint 2007 site, but unlike the previous one, Isaka actually chose to adopt Ontolica as their search solution. And as I perform my search here, basically we'll have a chance to see the kinds of things that you can do with the Ontolica solution in terms of customizing the look and feel of your result pages and getting a much more styled and brand-friendly look to the page. Obviously, the preview functionality is very, very powerful here. The ability to just go and pull up the first page of the document, view that, and then go in and view the content of the document in the full document preview. Of course, this is being done on a web page. Very useful that it doesn't require eye filters to do this. There's no Silverlight, there's no flash on this page, so it performs really great in an internet-facing role. But that's really just standard Ontolica preview functionality. What Isaka have done with the Ontolica product here in their deployment of it to make it really, really interesting is the way they have styled it. You can see this looks nothing like a standard Ontolica result page, but they've also gone in and exposed their custom properties. You can see custom content type here. Also custom language and also topics. So they've got a huge range of very, very nicely styled filtration options here that really allow me to go in and pull up results in a very, very focused way. Very, very powerful, very, very effective. The final example I just want to show you here is the whole question of actionable results. Now, a couple of key things to keep in mind here when you're thinking about implementing results into your result pages is, well, what specific business processes do you actually want to support? What should be available? What should users be able to do directly from their results? And also, obviously, what audiences and what contexts should these actions appear to? Obviously, you don't want to present human resources with support actions. They don't need them. In a similar sort of way, you might have specific actions that are available to your legal department that nobody else should be able to see. And it's important to keep in mind that you do need to support that in a useful way. So what I'll be showing you is Ontolica Enterprise Search running on SharePoint 2010. And I'm going to show you the integration in Ontolica between a search page and SharePoint's term store. In other words, I'm going to show you how you can go in and you can tag a document using the term store directly from the result page. So this is the Ontolica Enterprise Search page. Just fire off my search here. This is sort of a classic intranet style deployment with a number of documents in various different formats. Of course, we've got our preview functionality here. We've got our refiners over here on the left-hand side. But basically what I want to do is I want to go and grab this document here and do something with it. So of course I've got some standard functionalities here. I can subscribe to the document using alert me. I can send a link by email, as we discussed previously. I can obviously open the container where the document is located, or I can tag it. And that's what I'm just going to show you here. Obviously, this is standard functionality included in the out-of-the-box deployment of Ontolica. You could implement your own customizations on it, so you could link to more or less any custom action that you could imagine. But what I just want to do here is just go in and access the tagging interface here and add a tag to this document, because I think this document should be actually noted as confidential. So I'm just going to start typing confidential here. And I'll actually get a pop-up showing me the currently available keywords and terms that are in the term store that I can use. So I'm going to take this one, say this document is confidential, and save it. And then I'll just go in and check if any notes have been added to this document. No, they haven't, although I could do that here. This document is outdated and contains confidential information. I'll just make a note of that. Post it, and then anybody else who comes in will know why that was tagged and when. Close that down. So as you can see, a very effective way of actually putting that kind of functionality directly into the result list. So let me just summarize for you here at the end. The key thing to take away from this, I think, is that the old axiom of if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And The SharePoint maturity model gives you a range of very, very effective metrics that really allow you to go in and sit down and say, right, where am I doing well, and where can I put in some effort to improve it? Obviously, you can debate whether or not specific areas of the model are applicable to your organization, or if you feel the order should be different, or if you feel that certain elements of it shouldn't be there. You can see that I was doing that essentially with the whole discussion about advanced search that I don't believe should be in the model at all. But even though you may disagree with elements of it, it is a good model. It's got a lot of data behind it, and it's a very good point of departure. It basically gives you a baseline to talk from. And that brings us to the second point. Maturity does take time, as we saw with the statistics, but you can plan for it. As you saw with the curve, with the ability to break down a given level of maturity into action points and then actually execute those, you can plan for maturity even though you can't make it happen overnight. It's important, though, to choose your fights carefully, because SharePoint is a very wide platform and you can work on almost any aspect of it to make it mature, but you do need to focus on the areas that make sense for your business, that make sense for your users, so you don't end up pouring a lot of resources into driving maturity in an area where nobody's really going to get any benefit from it. Related to that, of course, it is very important that you explore the standard functionality in SharePoint and understand the costs associated with it. As I showed you with the very brief look we had at customizing the standard Refiner web part in standard SharePoint 2010, you can do it, but it is a little bit tricky. You do need to be careful, and you do need someone who has a good understanding of the underlying structures in SharePoint, and of course can write XML. A product like Ontolica allows you to do the same thing, just in drop-downs and checkboxes. So it's lighter weight in terms of the kinds of staff who need to do it, though of course it has a cost associated with it. So you really need to sit down and consider, okay, am I going to go with standard functionality and do a lot of development myself, or am I going to buy a third-party solution, pay for the licensing cost, but then actually make some savings on how you can then use it operationally. So there is a balance there, and it's very important that you think very clearly about it and make the decision based on which solution makes most sense for your particular situation. Which of course brings us to the point of looking at appropriate third-party solutions. We've looked at Ontolica a couple of times today. There are others for pretty much any range of SharePoint maturity challenges. One good solution to look at for workflows is of course the Nintex workflow solution. Very powerful and can really deliver a lot of the things that you wish you had in SharePoint without requiring you to develop them yourselves. Specifically, a lot of the things that help you with doing cross-departmental and reactive workflows can come from the Nintex solution. So once you've considered the standard functionalities and how much that costs, look at the third-party solutions that are out there, because often you can find solutions that are remarkably cost-effective when you look at the long haul. So that's what I had lined up for you here today. I hope you found this useful. Do take the time to check out our website, sign up for future webcasts, and also, if you're interested, take a look at the longer webcast done on customizing the Refiner web part. It's quite interesting, if for no other reason than it shows you the complexities of doing it. Thank you very much for your time.